cats, cops, and C4. You told me a simple job that you didn't want anything leading back to you. Then why haven't you left? I have something called professional integrity. You paid, so I'm delivering, but we're rapidly appointing the area where that's just not possible. I thought you could kill anything. I can, but the question of collateral and dragging in others is a concern. You paid for one death, one person, but they have protectors, and they have some kind of instinct that warns them of danger. You haven't paid me to handle an empty handmaster, an entire police station, or what seems to be the counter-assassin, an Axiom adept and the fucking Takra that he's called in to hunt me down. She complains as she once again looks at the view screen. It's just a damn proxy body. But she's still pissed. Not my concern. I have paid you for one death. Kill the one target and be done with it. Her employer says and hangs up. Oh, for fuck's sake, she says before setting down the burner communicator. She considers for a moment. She has a trap, a method, which means she can get the bastards to look away, at least for a time. She has a large amount of chemical boom, some null detonators, and a hostage. An empty handmaster is nothing to sneer at. Though like all people, except the damn humans, she drops with the first blast of null. Slip in with some tritite to keep your own axiom stable under it, and null is the perfect tool to win any fight by damn near default. Cheap, but sometimes you need to be cheap in order to get things done. Everyone forgets so easily that null is just axiom gone completely feral due to density, and tritite resists axiom in all its forms, just not the effects it can conjure. Axiom stops dead against it and slides off, but heat made from axiom can still melt tritite. An item moved by axiom can strike tritite. The magnetic rails of her gun could still move it despite being axiom powered, and the empty handmaster caught those rounds because her hand was massively reinforced by axiom and moved by it. The humans use null as a game winner. The humans use axiom to fight on an absurd level. The humans are very vengeful and prone to resorting to absolutely overwhelming force when pushed. The humans also have increasingly large numbers as they recruit with a manic fervor. However, the humans also have what seems to be a series of morals. Morals she can use. Her viewing drone is suddenly taken down, and in response she sends her relay drone to dive to the lowest level it can reach. It will destroy itself at the point where the tiers of the spires meet. A good distraction. She'll have a little more time to prepare, and prepare she must. She has a plan. The silence holds up the broken drone he had spotted, and Modan cracks it open entirely for the small agent to rip out a chip and insert it into a device he pulls out of a belt pouch. Is that where we need to go? Vera demands as the device shows coordinates dropping fast towards the ground. The silent shakes his head. The coordinates suddenly stop and the signal is abruptly lost. They get a thumbs up from the kid. You had someone there? Vera asks. Likely a wandering team was nearby and was made to make a desperate grab for it, Modan states. Now we just need to wait for the information. So what was this about? Reggie asks as Koa swoops back up on his airbike with the well-camouflaged drone partially broken in one hand. They were on another run for cult nonsense, with Koa bringing his bike to not only practice tricks with it, but was encouraging Reggie and Amadi to do the same. Not sure, but Koa starts to answer and Reggie's communicator goes off and he checks it. They need its information. All right, hand it over. I'll crack it open, Reggie says and then catches the drone. He gets the shell off in moments and starts digging through the guts. Shit, I'll need someone to sacrifice their communicator. I'll fix it later and... Thank you. No problem, Amadi states as he watches Reggie work. The man may be a mechanic first and foremost, but he's a good enough electrician that few, if any, actual electronic systems are safe in his presence. Amadi's communicator is opened wide, and with a few twists, the system between the drone and the communicator are bridged. The communicator is forced through a hard restart and forcibly booted along the drone's OS. And I'm in. Someone hold this mess up. I need to focus, Reggie says, and Koa grabs the drone again and holds it steady as Reggie starts hacking into the system fully. The silent holds up the newly received data. The target is moving. Time to move. The location is several spires over, a large building, temporarily closed for remodeling. As they arrive on the block, the silent grabs at Vera's and Shank's clothing before shaking his head. I should go alone? Modan asks, and the silent shakes his head. He points at Modan and makes bold walking motions before pointing to Vera, Chunk, and then himself, and making as if sneaking. Right, I'll get the attention. You three look for traps or any backways, right? The silent nods. All right then. I'd say wish me luck. Modan begins as the axiom begins forming around him, and things start making sense. He flips a coin. But I make my own luck. The silent dashes to the side and is followed by Cenk and Vera as Modan looks down the street. He receives a text on his communicator and checks it. It confirms the address and tells him to go in the front door. He walks out around the corner and begins marching up to the building. Someone thinks they can just null and grab Melon like that. Do they have a fucking death wish? Of course they do. If people haven't cued into the fact that the Undaunted are damn lethal, then that's just Darwinian selection working as intended. The door to the building is unlocked and he enters. The moment he does so, a targeting laser is in the center of his chest. It's not the sniper, it's a turret with a railgun. One mostly coated in a thin layer of tritite and sucking an axiom through the seams to power itself. The adept? Where is the agent, the cop and the cat? A voice asked from a nearby speaker. You have my wife. Why wouldn't I come? Modan asks and there's a pause. Isn't she, considering that Cenk's more or less her adoptive brother, and she's a firm friend of Vera, she's going to spend her time around him when I'm buried in research. Modan states as he flicks his coin. Tell me, have you studied the immensely interesting scientific field of probability? No, but that won't help you here. Only that first gun has a targeting system in the visual spectrum. It was something to get your attention and get you talking. Where is Meowing? She's in the building. Honestly, you got here sooner than I expected. I wasn't fully ready, which means that this mission is going to be rough and ready. Hope you don't mind, the sniper says, and Modan closes his eyes. Then they snap open and he throws the tritite coin. It bounces off 3 walls to pierce and destroy the seal on a tritite coffin. You know your way around tritite. The sniper notes and Modan shifts back to dodge a subsonic and utterly silent rail round of tritite. The bill is just going up and up. Just surrender now and I won't have to kill you. You're not getting away with this. Oh? Well, funny story about getting away, the sniper says. It's that you're not. This building is already rigged. I was expecting Mr. Deputy to show up so I can get my pay. But I suppose an undaunted adept is a nice prize either way. Where is he, by the way? That's none of your concern. Or rather, that is something that should be greatly concerning. Modan notes as he pulls out another coin. Then he sighs. You're not even here. And those large axiom siphons are a null trap of some kind, aren't they? Let me guess. The axiom is stopping some kind of chemical explosive from going off, and the null means an immediate boom when I can't teleport away. Modan monologues as Cenk carefully tracks a wire through the absolute rat's nest of a bomb. It's in stasis, but that can be pierced into. But if done wrong, it will drag the plastic explosive out of stasis, and seeing as how there's nothing but a single nanosecond left on the timer, well, it's not good. To make it worse, the bomb is on the side of a large barrel that he's willing to bet his bottom dollar is either filled with more boom or with some kind of gas to really take this explosion up a notch or 3. And there are 4 total. The grayed out effect makes tracing it a little harder, but thankfully Private Stream is holding up a light as Vera holds him up in her war form. She might not be completely intelligent when she's in that state, but she has enough control to give him a boost. The wire cutters are sheathed in energies as he slowly pushes it through the gray stasis energy, and they slowly come together to clamp onto and cut a wire. That's 1 bomb down, 3 more to go. Whoever this killer is, she likes being thorough. The plastic explosives are very well done, and judging by the conversation Modan's happening, he's navigating sniping turrets. But the question is, where's the shooter? They really are clever little bastards, aren't they? The shooter asks as she watches through the very low quality, very weak, and very, very low power camera. The main one showed all the fun stuff with the adept staring down the gun barrels. But a team of 3 ripping the bombs she'd hung to the roof of the basement apart? Very clever. It was time to get the hell out of Dodge. She knows better than to pull the trigger. She could kill them. She could win and kill them all. Only 2 of the bombs have been disabled at best, and at that range, all 4 barrels of the gas would go off. And even if the heat didn't get them, the concussive wave of the explosion would, especially without Axiom to protect them. But the retaliation would make her wish for a nice and comfortable apocalypse. She's sure of that. The Undaunted have a tendency to hit back far harder than she ever wants to be hit. And she's not been paid anywhere near enough for this. She calls up her employer one last time. She doesn't get an answer, so she sends a single text. "You're a bitch, and even 10 times the price isn't enough. I'm gone." That said, she grabs her trusty plasma pistol and starts liberally torching all her electronic equipment before grabbing her escape satchel. She had made sure to get all the data storage centers above anything else. So many people just smash keyboards or monitors and think that's where the computer is. Idiots. A final message from the last burner communicator from this mess to the other surviving burner communicator, and she then burns it to slag as well. Then she's out the door, down the hall, out the building, and 10 minutes later booking a flight a nice comfy 5,000 light years long. The trade-off of never showing your face and always using a voice changer in business interactions is that you can just walk out at any time and wash your hands of the entire fucking mess. Like now. "Hello? Anyone?" Modan asks after the sniper stops talking to them. He can sense the other team below fiddling with some objects in stasis, which he's guessing is a series of bombs. The whole area is a trap, and trying to talk down the killer is... The burner communicator goes off. The same one that told them that Meowing had taken one for Chunk and had confused her for his wife. "Not worth it, you win?" He reads incredulously. Then he launches a coin at the sniper turret pointed right at him. No reaction. It's responding to movement and is not being given any further signals. He then abandons that and rushes up to where he can sense Melan and rips apart the thin tri-tight covering around the stasis pod. He deactivates it even as an Axiom battery begins glowing all the brighter, as his widening the hole allows it to suck in more energy. Melan's eyes flutter open and he reaches in to destroy the Axiom suppressant cuff she's still wearing. Her eyes then snap open and into focus. "What? Modan? What happened? Where was... I was nulled." "You were, but it seems our would-be killer has thought better and surrendered." "What?" she demands, and he holds out the burner communicator. "Not worth it. You win." She reads in shock even as Modan receives a text on his normal one. "Bombs disabled, go wild." He reads before tapping back. "We've already won, she surrendered." I can't help but feel disappointed. Mightylan says, "Gotta hate smart enemies. They know when to run." Modan replies as he stands up again and helps her up and out of the stasis pod.